Welcome to another Cardano update. Like always, make sure to check out our YouTube memberships and our Patreon if you want access to all of our charts and if you want access to our daily Discord updates for only like $5 a month. Also check out the third wave merchandise, and I hope you enjoyed this video. So as you can see, Cardano is going up. Now of course what's happening right now does not confirm that this low is in, and we could always get another low and invalidate the other setup that I've been talking about for the past week or so, that was changed with this setup, this new 1 2 3 4 5 setup, which counts as a first wave move up, and this means we are in a second wave move down right now. And I kind of want to see the price break below the 64.3 cents region to get rid of the other setup, because if we do not, and if we continue going up right now, and well, if we actually get above this high right here, which is at 71.5 cents, and then above this high, which is at 76.5 cents, this will tell us that the low is most likely in and that we're probably going higher. However, there's a problem with that, because if we do not invalidate this other setup on the chart, and if we do not get below this 100% extension, which is at 64.3 cents, we're gonna have two scenarios on the chart, and I don't really like that. I would much rather get another low right now just to know exactly what is going on. But if we actually start going up right now and we get above the bear market support band and the 200-day moving average, then the region that used to be right here, which I think was between 97 cents and like $1, will have to be, re-added to the chart, because the other setup, the other 1 2 1 2 3 4 setup, is still going to be valid, meaning that this could actually still be a fifth wave of the other third wave that we had on the chart. And yeah, I think I can actually scroll up on the Discord server and see where it was. So this is the wrong chart. Let me actually look for a Cardano chart. This is also the wrong chart, and I think this was it right here. So this is how it looked like before I changed the wave count, because stuff changed in the market. And well, the minimum target right here was at about 96.7 cents. And of course, there were other regions, for example the 1618, which was at $1.02, and even the 200% extension. Now I do have to say, if we do not invalidate this setup right here, and if we do not drop below 64.3 cents, then I'm gonna put that on the chart again. And let's say if it actually gets above 96.7 cents and it does not react to this region, then we are most likely doing what we are doing right now, which is this 1-2 setup, and it most likely means that we're still going in a third wave right here, and that the other wave count was just wrong. Now, like I said, if we actually react to the 97 cent region, then everything is going to be extremely confusing. But honestly, it doesn't even matter what happens right now, because well, we're still waiting to get 5 waves up, and if we get them in a weird way, it doesn't even matter as long as we actually get them. And well, if this is the third wave, or maybe this right here is the third wave, it doesn't really matter, because we're still expecting to go higher. Now, I do have to talk about the RSI right here. The RSI on the 4-hour is pretty much the reason why we are going up right now. As you can see, we got above the moving average, we retested it about 2 times, and that gave us this pump, and I think at some point we're gonna retest it again. And keep in mind, if we get below it, this could give us another low right here in the second wave move down, and that could put us at 62.5 cents, which would be the ideal scenario right now in my opinion. Now again, I'm not saying that it's gonna happen, but it's still likely until we get at least above this high right here at about 76.5 cents. Now let's talk about the daily as well, because the daily is also pretty important. And as you can see right here, we are seeing a bounce, and well, we are still below the moving average on the RSI, so if we continue going up right now, it's going to be very important to break above this, because well, we have been below it for quite some time now, probably like 2 or 3 weeks at this point. And this just looks like the weekly RSI. The weekly RSI does the exact same thing. If you look at the weekly, we are also, below the RSI right now. And also, speaking of the weekly, we are retesting it. We are retesting the moving average, which is going to be very important, because if we get rejected right now, and if we do not manage to close this week above it, it could be actually extremely bearish, and that could put us, lower, maybe in the 57 cents region. And well, it's still not gonna be bad because at the end of the day, Bitcoin dominance is still at 64%. And Cardano is not at cycle lows, so things are still looking fine, and we're still waiting for that cross on the bull market support band. If you look at the daily chart at least, I mean, the cross looks like it's gonna happen very soon. I mean, some other charts already had the cross. For example, Bitcoin, if you look at the daily, it had a cross, and usually this means that it's about to start going up. I mean, here, for example, it had a cross, it went down during the day of the cross, and then the second day, I think, as you can, I'm sorry, this was actually the second week, not the second day. During the second week, we also went sideways, but then in the third week, we went from like $66,000 to about $81,000, and then we continued going up after that. So right here, we just had a cross, let's say this week. This week will most likely continue to go sideways, and next week could be extremely bullish. Keep in mind, I'm still expecting Bitcoin to get to all-time highs, and the next, resistance levels are between $126,000 and $157,000. Now, going back to the Cardano chart, I mean, the resistance levels are already pretty clear. It's the RSI on the moving average on the weekly RSI, then it's the bull market support band, then it's the 200-day moving average, and then it's the 618 of the previous all-time high. And once we get above this, we'll most likely get rejected because, well, I'm expecting this to turn into a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 setup, and the fifth wave will most likely close here. Then we'll need an ABC down. It's gonna look like a big rejection, but it's just gonna be a fake out, and then after that we'll finally have the first 1-2 setup of the third wave on the chart, meaning that after this we're expecting the third wave of the third wave of the third wave, and well, what happens after that will just be history. And there's not much else to know. I mean, on the monthly chart, if you want to talk about the monthly, we closed above the moving average on the RSI yet again, and this is funny, but we had like 3 monthly green wicks in a row, which is really good. And well, we'll see if this continues happening. Of course, these wicks don't really mean anything if they're just going sideways, but do not forget what happened, the last time we were going sideways, which was right here. We were going sideways for months, and then all of a sudden we had this move, which, I mean, this was a 4x or something, and this happened in like 1 month, and I think this is very close to happening again. Also, we need to talk about the RSI on the monthly. The RSI is barely 53, and this is a very good sign because if you look at where the RSI was in the previous cycle, when we were in the pretty much exact same 1-2-1-2 setup right here, the RSI on the monthly was at like 50, and the price during that time was at about 9 cents. So the RSI was doing what it's doing right now, but it was even lower than it is right now. However, the price, I mean, from let's say this right here to where we're at right now, I mean, it went up like 600%, which is a very good sign, and this tells us that the altcoin season obviously still did not happen. And for those saying that it, already happened, I mean, if you look at the Bitcoin dominance chart, I mean, it does not look like it happened. Also, speaking of the Bitcoin dominance chart, as you can see, we are finally going down, and also, you need to know this, but we just had a cross on the bull market support band on the monthly chart, which is a very good sign. The last time we had a cross was around here, and let me actually go on the weekly for this. We had a cross, I think, here, and then we went from like, let's see, about 61% dominance all the way down to like 54%. And of course, I mean, in the long term, this was a fake out. However, during this time, Cardano actually went up like 300%, and Bitcoin dominance only dropped like 7%. And right now, I'm expecting Bitcoin dominance to drop to like 41% from like 65%. And that's a 24% drop, I believe, something like that. And that's gonna be like 3 times the amount of what happened over here, which I think is gonna be extremely bullish. Also, I have to mention on the weekly RSI on the Bitcoin dominance chart, we broke below the moving average, which is an extremely good sign, because that's exactly what we did in November over here. And as you can see, after that, over the next couple of weeks, it just continued going down. So this could actually be a good sign. Of course, we were also below the moving average over here, and then we got back above it. But as you can see, we got rejected by it, and this could be an early sign that the altcoin season is very close to happening. Of course, I'm not going to say that the altcoin season started until we get below the bull market support band, then the 200-day moving average, then the 60.3%, then the 60.3% support level, which, acted as resistance in the past, and then to this level right here, which is the 0.236 support level of the entire move up. until we get to about 57.8%. I'm not gonna say that the altcoin season started because this could be another fake out. But even if we get to these levels, I mean, that's probably gonna tell us that the altcoin season already started. And well, the rest will pretty much be history. We are still waiting to, get something like this. And I know, I mean, the market is boring and there's not much going on, but I'm actually pretty excited about this chart, and it has a lot of potential, in my opinion, to be extremely good in the next couple of months. I don't think we're going to continue going sideways for much longer. I think once we get across, maybe we'll get like 1 week of just, sideways price action, but then after that, we should finally get something, and that something might just be the altcoin season that everybody has been waiting for quite a long time at this point. So we'll see what happens. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to check out our YouTube memberships and our Patreon if you want access to all of our charts, and if you want access to our daily Discord updates for only like $5 a month. Check out the third wave of the third wave merchandise, like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.